Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. Do some casinos go too far with sexy advertising? Andy's got the rundown.
Just how much sin is allowable in Sin City? Are these ads getting a little too bare? That's what Sam will talk to Peter Bernhard, chairman of the Nevada Gaming Commission, about this morning. And then we talk to a couple of women who want to open up adoption records. What do you think? Sam?
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel, Martha Gould, Keith Lee, and George Peak. It's all coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
The Abowed family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Catch a straight, dine at 8. Lucky you. Lucky you. Dance till 1. Have some fun. Lucky you. Lucky you. Taste the shrimp. Have a sip. Try the pool. Play it cool. At the Sienna Hotel Spa Casino. Lucky you.
In business, the key to success is not the quantity of your clients, it's the quality of your clients. Almost all companies will tell you they want more sales, but what they really need are quality customers who pay their bills on time. With Employer Link's client and vendor screening program, we provide comprehensive reports regarding the financial performance of your corporate prospects, customers, and vendors. Build your business with great clients and vendors. Call Employer Links today at 883-3733.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years. Call 882-1700 to see what we can do for your organization.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Andy Engleman.
I'm here with the chairman of the Gaming Commission for the state of Nevada, Peter Bernhard. Pleasure to have you on the program, sir. It's about darn time.
Thank you for having me.
The Hard Rock Hotel has been in a little bit of trouble because of the raciness of some of their billboards lately. What's your thoughts on that?
Again, this is a matter that comes to the commission in an adjudicatory manner. So once the Gaming Control Board finishes its investigation, the matter may come to us for decision.
Okay, am I goofy in thinking that we attract people to the Silver State with a sexy image and gaming and alcohol and food and all these bountiful things and nickname is Sin City? Why would we be concerned, and let's not talk about Hard Rock specifically, but why would we be concerned about a billboard?
I think that's an appropriate question for policymakers in the state, and there's always an underlying view that there can be boundaries which could be broken, and that would not reflect positively on the state of Nevada. And one of our responsibilities is to try to set those boundaries. And I know that those boundaries can be tested and can be pushed, and what may be very clever and innovative to one person might be very offensive to another. Witness the Super Bowl halftime show as well. It just took place recently. So all of these things come into play in trying to decide what is and is not an appropriate avenue for regulation.
You know, it's interesting. I don't know that you probably spend too much time watching MTV, but if you did watch MTV, you probably see that what happened to the Super Bowl, your kids and grandkids are watching all the time.
I'm sure that's true. And I do have kids, and they do tell me what's on MTV.
Okay, let's turn to another topic that just occurred here in the session that we were in. And I'm not going to mention who, but there was one of the members of the panel who was really whining about the level of investigation it takes for people to be licensed, not only here in the Silver State, but across the country. And that there are certain rights that are taken away. The Fifth and Sixth Amendment rights are taken away in our policy. Does that strike you as a concern, or does that strike you as, hey, we're keeping the crooks out?
Well, I think it's an appropriate area for discussion, as I said. I think that it's also appropriate for regulators to carry out their responsibilities to the state to make sure that the public interest is protected.
All right, we're right back on Nevada Newsmakers.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch. Atlantis.
Would you like to savor a Trento pork chop? Or maybe pasta rags with grilled chicken? Hugo's Tuscan Grill at D'Andrea is a celebration of color, flavor, and freshness. Each dish is created from natural, wholesome foods that is delicious and nutritious. Hugo's is a comfortable restaurant with breathtaking city views. If you enjoy great food and good company, visit us here at Hugo's. It's the best that dining can be. 2900 South D'Andrea Parkway in Sparks.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Andy Engleman.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're here with the chairman of the Gaming Commission. That's the highest authority in gaming in the state. You've got a couple of licensees that are now planning to open casinos in Macau. Do you have concerns that what has basically been a criminal enterprise on Macau, I mean, I've been there. It's ugly. Is it possible for our casinos to be able to go over there and open legitimate operations that are not going to be affected by corruption?
Well, our staff has been actively involved in looking at those types of issues. And again, our purpose in Nevada is to make sure that the Nevada licensees conduct themselves appropriately in every jurisdiction where those licensees are authorized to operate. So we want to make sure that whatever safeguards and protections there are in Macau will protect the reputation of Nevada licensees from any accusations of criminal or other untoward conduct.
Are you having discussions with, for example, the Chinese government, even though it's a special administrative region, which has its own semi-autonomous control, but how far up the food chain do you need to have guarantees? Does the military need to be there to make sure that the gangs don't get back in?
Well, frankly, from our perspective within the state of Nevada, we have staff and the control board actively involved in looking into those types of issues. What kinds of reassurances will be sufficient to satisfy us as regulators that the Nevada gaming industry will be protected? The Nevada licensees will not be in a situation which will cause a great deal of embarrassment or scandal that would adversely affect the Nevada reputation.
Are you saying any kind of scandal, or you don't want to see any scandal?
Well, obviously, we want to see our licensees conduct themselves consistent with the requirements of Nevada law. In other words, the standards that we require them to meet, we expect them to meet in other jurisdictions.
Okay, last question. You're dealing with a computerized industry. You see every day technology that just abounds throughout the gaming industry, and yet we haven't figured out a way yet to regulate internet gaming. Do you think it's coming anytime soon, in the next 3 to 5 years?
3 to 5 years is a fairly long horizon. Our legislature gave us a directive that if, in fact, internet gaming could be conducted in compliance with all laws and regulations, including federal law, and if we were comfortable that there were adequate safeguards to ensure the integrity of the games and the integrity of the players, that is, to make sure that only people of lawful age and lawful jurisdiction could play, then we were authorized to adopt regulations to approve that. We never got over that first hurdle because the federal government has said that internet gaming would be illegal under the Wire Act. And I still have some questions in my mind whether the public policy of the state of Nevada would support that type of convenience gaming where people in their bedrooms and living rooms by logging onto their computers could play games just as they could if they had to go to a casino.
Yeah, this is going on around the world. is the United States just going to lose out on the dough?
Maybe, but if so, then that's a small price to pay when you consider the other consequences.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Great answer.
All right.
We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers.
Allegra is Northern Nevada's #1 offset printing and digital copying facility.
From disc to destination, Allegra utilizes tomorrow's technology today. We specialize in booklets, catalogs, manuals, newsletters, stationery, and envelopes.
Xerox, Docutech, 4-color printing with Heidelberg Speedmaster, desktop publishing and design, graphic services, pickup and delivery.
If you need printing, Allegra can do it. From disc to destination.
To experience the royal cuisine of India, you need some serious magic or simply transport yourself to India Garden, right here in Reno, where you'll discover Indian specialties refined over centuries. Seekh kebab, tandoori dishes cooked in our own tandoor oven, biryani specialties, curries, fresh-baked Indian bread, over a dozen vegetarian dishes, even dishes rare to India like dosa, South Indian-style crepes. India Garden off South Virginia near Sports West. We are India.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Andy Engleman.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by Claudia Van Lydegraf and Kristie Travers. We're going to talk about potential problems with opening adoption records.
Actually, and thank you for being here today, ladies. Kristie, you were adopted as a child, right?
Yes.
And Claudia, you put your child up for adoption.
2 children.
All right, and what you're both, and right now there's an interim study going on looking at the opening up of adoption records, and both of you are in favor of that, is that?
Definitely.
Okay, why? Just jump in here.
Go ahead, Kristie.
Well, basically, speaking as an adoptee, non-adopted people take for granted that they can go down to Vital Statistics and get a copy of their birth certificate. When I go down there, immediately doors are shut, files are slammed closed, and I'm told, well, because you're adopted, you don't have a right to that information. And it's for no other reason than I'm adopted. So the reason that I personally support opening records is that I view them as a civil right. Everyone else has a right to gather that personal information about themselves. But simply because I was adopted, that information is kept secret from me.
Will they give you any factual information off of it, such as the date, time you were born, things like that?
Well, what they will give me is what's called an amended birth certificate. So I have a birth certificate that I can carry with me, but the information on it isn't actually the information from my birth. My adopted parents are listed as the people who gave birth to me. The state registrar of births is listed as the attending physician, and there's documentation that we have from other adoptees who, once they were able to find out their real birth information, found that the dates, the times, the locations were changed, this is speaking historically, by as much as a year.
Wow.
And 3,000 miles. It's just the way that things used to be done.
Both of my sons had their amended birth certificates changed, the dates and the times, and even the names that I gave them were changed.
What are you looking for here? Is it just a question of civil rights, or are there questions that you just want answered?
You know, what it sounds to me like you're asking is if I'm looking for information so that I can search, or if I'm just looking to be treated as an equal. And in all honesty, I struggle with whether or not I'll search. That's a really personal decision, and I'm already 32. I've looked a little, but it depends on the day that you ask me, in all honesty. The strongest driving force for me is the fact that my 2 sisters, both of whom are my parents' biological children, can just walk into Vital Statistics and get their birth certificates, but when I walk into the same office, I'm not treated the same. And for me, it's about equality and it's about fairness.
All right, Claudia, what about someone who's given their child up for adoption and doesn't want their child to find them?
Well,
is this fair to them?
If they truly don't want to, I think the way some states are handling it is that they can put a do not call or do not contact on the file, and then if one party is not willing to be contacted, then it stops. as far as that's the way like Oregon is handling it, and some other states that are.
But would you be given the information? Would you know who the person was, even though they said they didn't want to be contacted?
Yeah,
in Oregon, yes.
In Oregon, yes.
So doesn't that defeat the?
Well,
obviously, I have empathy
actually-
for both of you, but I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate here. That somebody chooses to take a child to term, doesn't want to go through any other process like abortion, but truly does not want to have the responsibility or any guilt associated, whatever those emotions.
Wants to forget that episode ever happened in their lives.
But you never do forget it.
But not allow that life to be discontinued.
Well, and that's the common myth, and opponents of open records often bring that up. We promise birth mothers confidentiality, that their names would never be revealed. The problem with that, though, is that even under current law, that's not how things exist. Under current law, adoptees, once they become adults, can petition the courts. And the courts, a judge, can decide based on what he or she determines as good cause to open those records without notifying any birth family. So there's one way that people can already gain that information without birth parent consent, and that breaks confidentiality.
Is that usually for medical reasons?
In some cases for medical reasons, but the courts haven't really defined what good cause is. There's a second issue that's brought up with confidentiality being promised to birth parents.
I was
and
never
that is,
promised any.
Well, that's right. Well, and a lot of parents will tell you that, but the process, the way it currently exists, is that adoption records are not sealed when the birth parent signs those relinquishment documents. They're only sealed at the final adoption, when the adoption decree is issued. So a child who's given up for relinquishment, who's relinquished, and who is never adopted, their records are never sealed. And a birth parent would have no way of knowing this, because once they sign those relinquishment documents, their relationship with that child ends. But I want to get back to the point that open records, for us, we're promoting open records for adult adoptees. This doesn't change how a parent's relationship with their child that they have adopted. This is only about adult relationships with the state in which they're adopted.
And Claudia, you've been able to contact your child and make, all right, and people want more information on Claudia's story, they can read her book, Notes from Nobody.
It's available online at Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and orderable at Barnes & Noble stores.
Okay, we can't talk any longer about it, or Sam charges you for a commercial.
Okay, we're out of time, but thank you, ladies, for coming in and sharing your experiences.
Yes, and do come back and keep us informed of what's going on.
We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Before you head to Carson, take care of yourself with a visit to Tamarack Junction. Catch a hot cup of coffee and the morning news on one of our 32 TVs and enjoy the best food in South Reno. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
The Aboud family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Your home is an expression of all things comforting and familiar. For custom storage, you can count on California Closets to provide quality, value, and design integrity. The process is easy, combining your personal style with our organizing expertise. We care about what matters most to you, making your home functional and beautiful. California Closets, simplifying home and life since 1978. Call today for your complimentary design consultation.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo Free Checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Make your daily commute easy with breakfast or lunch at the Tamarack Junction. Enjoy daily specials, super fast service, and South Reno's freshest morning meals. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Andy Engleman.
And I want to just mention that we'll continue our visit to Las Vegas's American Gaming Summit tomorrow with Mark Falcone, who is a Deutsche Bank analyst and has some amazing things positive to say about Northern Nevada. You won't want to miss that. Our pundit panel today, a super one for you as usual. Martha Gould is here, George Peak, and Keith Lee. And no, they didn't pay me to say that. Let's start off, first of all, talking, the Gaming Commission chairman there was talking about racy ads. Are we getting too racy with our advertising, particularly in Southern Nevada, or is that just part of what's going on?
Well, I'll jump in there first because I believe, yes, we're getting too racy with the ads, but I think it's a more endemic problem than that. I think interesting today in today's newspaper, Reno newspaper, Suzanne Fields, one of the guest columnists, talked about the pulp culture and where we've gone with all that. And I think she's right on. And I think we have to get back to some values in this country. And, I mean, whether you look at the Super Bowl ads that everyone chuckled at and thought were great, or if you look at the Super Bowl halftime show that I think collectively no one over 25 thought it was appropriate at all, I think nonetheless, however you categorize any of that, we need to get back to some moral standard that somehow we've deserted in the last 20 years.
How about just some taste, some good taste?
Well, yeah.
That would be very nice.
When did Nevada ever sell good taste?
Well, I don't think it's a question of whether Nevada is selling good taste or not. And I have to sort of build on what Keith said. There's something that has happened in this country. And if it is racy or sexy, that's what people think sells. So you look at the billboards.
Sex to sell, whether it was cars back in the 50s with a beautiful mom showing it.
It hasn't been as tasteless as it is these days.
Tasteless.
Tasteless. I mean, they've sort of gone
George,
beyond
would you
the
use sex to sell real estate?
Absolutely not.
Maybe the idea is that you use sex, but you don't give it away. You cover it up to the point where you titillate rather than
let's go back to Gypsy Rose Lee. She never took it all off.
And for people who don't know who that is,
I want to bring up I want to bring up a second point that the Gaming Commissioner raised, which is this question of overregulation. On the panel discussion, which had several heads of gaming companies talking about, they were talking about the fact that in every jurisdiction you have to go there and be licensed, and it is multiple licenses. In one case, there was a question from the Nevada Gaming Commission about a $100 a month payment that was being made. Turned out it was somebody's dry cleaning.
Right.
Is there overregulation, or are we doing the right thing? We need to regulate to the max.
Well, I'll jump in again first because I do some practice before the Gaming Commission and Gaming Control Board in the state of Nevada, and I think over the 20-plus years I've been there, I think the inquiry has become more in depth. And I think
does it take away constitutional rights, though?
Sure does. But the Nevada Supreme Court, and it's been affirmed by the federal court, is you really, when you're in the gaming area in, say, Nevada, there are very few constitutional rights. You do not have any rights on. You give them up. But I think we have to seek a balance between proper regulation to make sure that the industry is safe from the mob, if you will, versus the costly and bureaucratic investigation of, and I know I'm familiar with the issue you raised. I think it took them 3 months to resolve the fact that the $100 payment a month was to the dry cleaner. And that held up licensing and held up a number of things. And so I think we have to get back again to striking a balance between what we need to accomplish from public policy and just the bureaucratic sort of, well, we need to find out everything that's gone on in this person's life, and we're sure 90% of that's bad.
Okay, I want to change the subject to politics, please. I know we've got a couple of caucus and primaries going on in Virginia and Tennessee, I think it is today, in the South. And what we're hearing from Democrats is many Democrats are going to vote for Kerry because they think he's electable. Now, this sounds like common sense coming from the Democratic Party, which right away boggles my mind.
I think Democrats are extremely sensible.
Yeah, but a couple of weeks ago you didn't have a platform.
Yeah, right.
Oh, there's the one. Does either party have one? Help me this one.
I'm going to throw this at George first. George, you're a Republican thrust between two Democrats here.
In a manner of speaking.
Yes. And the president's numbers are dropping badly. Okay, and it's looking like it's going to be a close election. What are the Democrats doing? Looking for somebody who can beat Bush?
Well, of course they're looking for somebody who can beat Bush, but I don't think Kerry can once the true character comes out. I mean, all he's done right now so far is a character assassination of the president, and the president, until the Meet the Press, has not really taken a stance against him. And once the platform and what the people in this country believe in really comes out, Kerry will, carry the day for a little while.
George, can I ask you, before the other two jump in, because I know they're going to have an opposite view here, were you pleased with the president's performance on Meet the Press? Do you think it helped him?
No, it was mediocre, but, the message was there, but always the little bit of the delivery and a little bit of the fire. But, again, I think that's where the country wants to be. They want the fiery leader, but they also want somebody that's a little bit
they don't want to
restrained. Yeah.
Okay, Martha and Keith, you got 30 seconds apiece.
Kerry will beat Bush. That's what I think, despite what you say. Bush is coming across, I think, in a very less than mediocre way. And people are beginning to question how we got into this mess in Iraq. They're beginning to look at all of the things that are coming out now. Look at this morning's paper. Look at the New York Times. I'm sorry, the president is lacking, what's the word I want? People no longer believe in him.
Let me just say, Bush will get reelected if you look at the electoral politics. Let's look at the states in play that you need to win, and Bush is going to win those. Let me make one prediction.
I hope not.
Let me make two predictions that against conventional wisdom. Bush will dump Cheney, and Rudy Giuliani will be the vice presidential nominee on the Republican ticket, and Dianne Feinstein or Dick Gephardt will be the vice presidential nominee on the Democratic ticket.
I think you'd be better off with Sam Nunn.
Where do you store your crystal ball?
Pardon?
Where do you store your crystal ball? I want sources. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch. Atlantis!
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
Tomorrow, the gaming analyst who has positive things to say about Northern Nevada's gaming.
And Jerry Bussell and Dick Gannick talking about terrorism in Reno.
We'll see you tomorrow.